for a second. It's a good comic. It's called Alguna Shive, and I could probably not type that out off the top of my head. I used to be able to, because I used to look it up on my like lunch breaks and shit, you know, back before you had fancy phones and shit, and you actually had to like look it up on a spare computer and remember what things were called. But yeah, it's kind of followed. Okay, what did it do? It followed this kind of group of teenagers, specifically this one guy. And it kind of followed how he and his friends, I don't know, they just did stupid shit. Yeah, that's it. That's exactly it. Yep, Grim. I've read it since way back in the old original comics and stuff when like it was more of a, I don't know, I guess a theme. It was kind of like, you know, the main guy is a bit of a self-proclaimed hero kind of thing, and you know, defends the weak and stuff like that because he trains in, I think it's the School of Anime Martial Arts or some shit, I think is what it's called, is what he trains in. And it, of course, ends up giving him magical powers because, you know, whenever you see people in Dragon Ball Z and other animes and stuff like that doing some kind of massive training thing, they always end up like super ripped and having like extra magic and stuff like that. So obviously it was all kind of like a bit of bullshit when he like took on the course, but then it later turned out that actually did cause a lot of the students to like gain magical powers and stuff. So yeah, it led to a lot of stuff. But yeah, it was one of the few comics and stuff that I was like reading religiously every week. It's still going now. I still read it every few days whenever it updates and stuff. And they're now nearly at the point where they're going off to college. But a lot has happened. A lot's changed. So even what I'm describing now about the story is not even the same kind of like, it's not that far off, but it definitely changed over, how long is that, like a decade or more? Something like that. God damn. My throat feels like it's raw, but it's not. And I think it's literally just cold air has like ripped it. I haven't had anything spicy. I haven't talked much. Yeah, I haven't really done anything. I heard one of those like ground crawling ones. Where are you? Like, there you are. That sound like I know they can't see them. It's almost nighttime, so I don't know what's about to happen. Since, you know, I'm in a pretty populated area. Also, this thing is the most inaccurate fucking distance rifle. I didn't know if I killed that guy for a minute there. Alright, let's get in this house. Slam that door shut. Yeah, funny thing is I could probably parkour over that. I was gonna say it might have a book, but it does not. I'm down. Something squishy. Hey, Lord Grim. Yeah, so Thursdays I play 7 Days to Die. I got it. I don't think I can get back up to deal with that zombie. I don't really read stuff, to be honest. Prefer storytelling, reading out for you. Where is it? Because normally express what is going on by wording, and you read the book, sometimes you get confused on the message. True. Well, Alguna Shive is very much kind of like the comic where every so often he over-explains himself, either in the kind of like comments on it or actually in the comment. Is that you and your mates are too stupid to figure out the guns? You just roll around with bows and arrows? Holy shit, you guys fucking tank it. We have 2 members on the server that roll with the crossbows. Pretty sure it's just crossbows and possibly a knife, give or take. I mean, for a long time, I like running with a spear. Like, my biggest thing with this game is I really enjoy playing, like, you know, the exploration sort of part of the game for a long time. Like, I like having to get around on foot for a long time. Like, even if I got the money that I could buy a vehicle, or if I've got the stuff to buy a vehicle, I would rather not have it for a substantial amount of time, because I like running around and exploring for a long time, scavenging and, you know, being forced with the difficulty of trying to take that home. If you're wondering why I'm throwing everything on the ground, so I'm looking for one last book. Members of our server always end up making bikes and cars and all sorts of stuff, and I'm just like, thank you, but no thank you yet, kind of thing. Because I want to keep playing that way. Get out here. Oof. Well, it worked. Yeah, so I am looking for one book. Fuck off. I'm trying to do stuff. So I am looking for this one book, and then I will have everything complete. Absolutely complete. There's a zombie walking around that corner. I should probably take the drinks with me, because I haven't given her a drink for a while. Go away. I don't need big loot drops. Jeez. Take that with me. That could be fun. And I think I was keeping these for selling, but I'm really running out of space. Oh yeah? You chucked a sticky. Are you actually sick, or are you just, like, enjoying some time off? Because, like, so maybe just enjoying the time off. Oh, wait, zombie. Wanted a long weekend. Are you not working Friday? Do you not work Fridays? Is this all that's down here? Shut up, Grim. You don't have to call in sick for anybody. Ah, okay. No, that makes sense. Ah, man. My only problem is if I call in sick, you guys don't have anything to, like, there's no stream. No, mine's usually, like, legitimately I'm sick or something's come up, like, what do you call it? Like, last Friday I had a family emergency, so I couldn't stream. Whereas next Friday, not this Friday coming, but next week's Friday, I have a medical appointment in the way of streaming, so I can't stream next Friday. Let me know what your boss says too. There's so many places where I've worked where there's no chance in hell that I could get away pulling a sickie. Even if I really tried. Like, I've actually seen people literally vomit on themselves, being like, I am sick, and the boss is just like, I don't know. And then they've, like, vomited on themselves, and they're like, well, you probably should go home because that's horrible. And it's like, well, if you had to let me go home, this wouldn't be happening. Do I have to break this fucking door down? Is there really no other way out? Oh, your assistant manager. Nice. It's pretty cool. I'm gonna quickly repair my guns. Throw this doorknob out. I actually had to speak to somebody to find out what my job title technically is at the moment. And a accountant, not my accountant, but a accountant said apparently I'm an influencer. And I think I fall under content creator. I don't know your problem since he is the manager. Yeah, that's the best part about being the assistant manager is like the ultimate responsibility does resolve on like, you know, the person that's actually the manager. However, you know, you always get like the stupid clients and customers and stuff that are like treat you as if you're basically just some piece of shit employee because you're not the manager. Let's dump that out. There we go. I was wondering where the fuck the zombies were in this place. Oh, this isn't bad, actually. I don't know about, like, how cramped it is and, like, the fact that there's a bed and you have to serve people, but, like, this isn't too bad. Coffee tester. Well, now, Grim. I don't know about that. Do you get a wide variety of coffee, though? Because, like, if you're only testing the same couple of ones, your batch sample's a little bit skewed, you know? Okay, I need to... let's roll it back in. I've obviously done up in here, so I'm going to move all the way over here. As for me, Grim... No, Grim loves coffee. Okay, so the best thing you need to know about Grim, or Sir Daddy... What is it? Sir Daddy Grim at the moment. Is that Grim's life is basically coffee. If everything was coffee, he would be the happiest man on the planet, and nobody could contest him. But yeah, no, he's not a barista. However, he does frequently make coffee throughout the day, so push comes to shove, he could probably make a decent cup. Yeah, he really does actually drink that much coffee too. Can't drink coffee because you don't like the taste. I think I'm up where I'm supposed to be. I hear shuffling. Oh, I went too far. Fuck off, mate. That's a question I've asked too. It's kind of like one of those things where he, I think, has built up an immunity. I believe that's what's occurred. If you do that for like long enough, because apparently I think it's seven cups of coffee is supposed to be, like within a very short period of time, it's supposed to be a lethal dose of coffee. However, if you are consistently consuming coffee, you know, at a casual, consistent rate and frequently enough, it's kind of like how you can build up tolerances to most things. Yeah. See, coffee does different things to me depending on what type of coffee it is. I don't think I've come down here before. So if it's, say, instant coffee, like, for instance, a Moccona or a Nescafe or something like that, right? I do wake up for a bit. I don't mind the taste. I kind of like, I get a bit of comfort from me. If it makes you go to the Thunderbox, just understand, I have Crohn's disease, which is an inflammatory bowel disease and also an autoimmune disease. So I am both immunocompromised and also like already very sensitive to all foods and beverages. So a coffee is basically a rip colonic for me. I've got to pick and choose my battles for when I'm drinking it and what kind of coffee I'm drinking for how it's affecting me. Instant coffee, yes. Pretty within the hour kind of thing is what's going to hit me. It just fucking slaps my guts upside and it hurts like hell. We have pod coffee here at home and I don't mind it. I have some favorites. I just can't afford to get them. Not consistently anyway. Yeah, I also do drink coffee, black, white, sugar, no sugar, white sugar, raw sugar. hot or cold. So none of that bothers me. So long as it's not a cold drink that's supposed to be hot or a hot drink that's supposed to be cold, because that can fuck right off. Brown sugar is pretty great. I use granulated raw sugar, and I quite like it. It reminds me a lot of like my grandparents' farm. Yeah, especially if like on the rare occasion I decide to make like a cup of tea or something like that, I feel like I'm sitting down at my grandparents' like, you know, breakfast table, so to speak. I feel like I've already looted this place. Maybe I did. That looks familiar. I can't have gone all the way through down here yet. I'll go over here and I'll check that out. Oh yeah. See, I like English breakfast. There's an Aussie blend as well. Can't really tell you what the fuck that tastes like. And I guess like, I don't know, basic bitch black tea. That's the thing. What else is there? English breakfast, Earl Grey. I don't mind that. English breakfast is my preferred, but Earl Grey is a happy second if I can't get English breakfast. I prefer English breakfast with like a couple of scoops of brown sugar and like just a small amount of milk, and it just tastes perfect. I had a big container of like 100 tea bags or some shit, but I found that it took me honestly, a good couple of years to get through that. And by the time I got through like, 25 of them, they started tasting kind of shitty. So I had to kind of dump that and try again. So I learned not to buy a 100-pack because I don't drink them enough. I have a little 10-pack in my house at the moment. And I think I've got one tea bag left, and I bought it last year. So that's efficient. I normally only drink it when it's really cold in winter, like really, really frosty winter. We don't get snow. So that's, it's just nostalgic for me. I do need an airtight container. The only problem is that I think I also like have a bad habit of leaving shit open while I'm like making stuff. So like I leave it open, accessible to the air for longer than it should be in the first place. And if you do that for like 25, 50 times in a row, it still kind of like fucks it up. Because I used to have, what did I have? I had a nice, I used, what are they? They've got like the soft jelly kind of like rim to them on the plastic containers or whatever. So when you squish them down and lock it in place, there's no air possible that could get in, or water. My main thing was water, because I don't know what it is with pouring fucking boiled water, but I'm a complete spaz, and I just sometimes just splash at shit places it's not meant to be. And so I don't really care if like it wets the bench or it, my mug gets a little extra splash. Look, I'm all kinds of special, okay? I trip upstairs. I literally walk into doors and walls and all sorts of shit. No joke. I have like some of the strangest shit happen to me. Like, okay. Sliced cheese. All right. You know that fucking plastic sliced cheese that, like 100 slices or some shit in a pack? So we bought a new pack of that, I don't know, a couple of years ago. And I opened it. I used a couple. No, I haven't actually eaten the plastic, amazingly enough. I have once put it in a sandwich without unwrapping it when I've been extremely tired, and that was a bit of a fail. It didn't take me very long to figure out what was wrong with that sandwich. But the big thing with this was that I picked up the cheese slices out of the fridge, the whole 100, and it kind of comes in like two stacks, it like together, so it's like a stack of 50 and stack of 50 side by side in the packet, and you kind of like just access one half at a time. So anyway, I picked it up and I somehow managed to I don't even know what happened, but I managed to like I don't know how to say it. I didn't drop. I kind of fumbled. And nothing happened to make me fumble it in the first place. But I fumbled this packet of, cheese slices, and 1/4 of the pack landed in the bin. Half the pack landed across the floor and under the fridge, and part of the pack ended up in the fridge because the door was open, and then I was left holding like 3 or 4 slices in my hand. And if my partner hadn't witnessed it, he honestly wouldn't believe that that fucking happened, because it's just so uniquely fucking weird the way that I do shit. You're confused. Look, I was confused and I was the one that did it. My partner, fucking hell. I really mean it when I say if he hadn't seen it, he wouldn't understand why like 1/4 of the cheese pack is in the bin the day after we bought it. Although he does understand how I keep dropping shit around the house now. Because it's just like, yeah. Yeah, no, he's learnt to be like, why is this on the ground? And I'm just like, oh yeah, I dropped that later, or that fell out of the fridge earlier or something. And like, a fridge is a stationary finite space that has like leveled flat shelves, and the amount of shit that falls out of the fridge when I'm accessing it, I'm not even joking. But he understands. And I'm OCD hygiene and hand washing. Oh no, it's not in the door. That's the thing. It's actually on the shelves, like in the fridge, deep inside the fridge. Some OCD hand washing and hygiene, and because of the vicinity of the bin in the kitchen, I really struggle with the hygiene aspect of if I drop something too close to it. And unfortunately, it's within a kind of distance between the fridge and like there's a fridge floor and then there's bin across from it. I'm not sure which way I'm supposed to go. I'm guessing I'm supposed to jump down there. All right, I'm down here now. Yeah, so there's a lot of times where shit happens and my OCD physically will not let me do a thing with it. That's more so where he's like pretty good about it. So we've got this rule that if something does spaz out and ends up on the floor, I will, pick it up and put it on the very, very bottom shelf in the fridge. And that is code for I've fucked up and dropped this. And it's not really clean enough to store in the usual area in the fridge. And if you do, like, open or handle or use it or whatever, you need to wash your hands between, like, accessing it and whatever you're making. Just for, like, cleanliness and stuff. So that's basically, like, what happens with that. But, yeah, we've gotten better. Like, for instance, even my partner managed to drop a lemon out of the fridge just a couple of nights ago. I'm kind of baffled, like, how he did that. Apparently he was just checking how many tomatoes we had, and it completely rolled out of the fridge. I don't know where the fuck I am supposed to be going in here. Like, that way didn't take me anywhere. Oh, fucking hell, it's up here. Yeah, no, you should be washing your hands anyway. Like, my biggest thing is, obviously, as an OCD hand washer, I have come to the easiness in life of using, say, gloves for certain tasks that are requiring me to wash my hands too much, because my hands used to be in really bad condition when I was working in retail at one point. And I used to find that between every customer, I had to wash my hands, and it was painful, especially in winter. But obviously in my house, it's not quite the same, but because I've got that OCD hygiene and I live in a house with a second person, it basically just results in me being stressed unnecessarily over, like, my OCD not knowing what is and isn't, like, technically clean. So it's usually just easier for me to be like, okay, well, I'm going to wipe this down or wash my hands, You're recently in retail. See, the thing about retail is, like, most retail's not too bad. IT retail is fucking awful. The amount of computers that I have personally handled that are either 100% legitimately 100% occupied by roaches or spiders or completely covered in smokers, tar, or, you know, various levels of carpeting dust and stuff like that. It's fucking revolting. And unfortunately, it's just part of computers just suck crap into them. And most bugs like to inhabit places like that because it's nice and warm. But yeah, it's gross. And that's the kind of retail that I had. So one minute you're literally like manhandling a computer in front of a customer to see what that smell inside of it is, only to discover after you've opened it, the customer says, I think the cat pissed in it. And you go, fabulous, right? Then you got to like write up paperwork, and that paperwork's got to travel all around the office and stuff. So, you know, extra cat piss goodness kind of stuff. So yeah, nothing's quite as grotty as that. There is stuff that's worse, obviously, but that's the worst one I've dealt with. And I wouldn't deal with that shit again. Like, it didn't matter what part of that business you were in, it still came down to having to handle something that had touched something disgusting. You don't have to do anything with computers. You only work on your own. That's pretty good. God, I have to cut this down. Yeah, I think the other thing too is, like, I don't know. Having OCD hygiene, for instance, is a lot of irrational overthinking of stuff. Or not even overthinking, it's just, what do you call it? Like, being extra attentive would be a good way to put it, but irrationally so. And yeah, I'm aware of it. And I'm glad that I don't have to deal with, like, you know, physical workplaces. Like, the only good thing I had was in my last place of work, I had semi-tolerant, initially I had like semi-tolerant co-workers. I was allowed to wipe my desk down every day when I got there. And yeah, if I needed to, like, you know, go wash my hands or something like that, they were pretty cool with it. The only thing that pissed them off was obviously, like, because I'd wash my phone, well, not wash, but I'd wipe down my phone when somebody else came and took a phone call from my desk, and they'd get pretty offended by that. But I'm like, look, you know, you're putting it to your ear, your makeup, your hair, whatever, your oils, are now going all the way up to my face. Like, no thank you. Also, if you've ever wiped over a phone that has not been touched in a cleaning method way for a very long time, you'll discover how gross those fucking things are. I still remember